Matt Miller.
Regret the podcast. 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 Hello, I'm Matt Miller, and welcome to episode 2 of Regret the Podcast. In this episode, I'm in bed drinking again, and I promise that I'm not going to fall asleep. But spoiler alert, I fall asleep again. So there you go. In this one, I definitely repeat myself more and appear drunker than the last one. But I tell some nice stories from my life, including stories about vegetarianism, saving a spider, shooting videos, drugs again, my dick, 7th grade, wrestling, and much more stuff. So, yeah, that's what this is about. I'm going to cut to the audio of me in bed and me rambling about things, and I do another intro, and I promise I won't fall asleep, and I do, and I've repeated that twice in the intro, much like in the episode, how I repeat fucking everything. And in the end of the episode, I'm going to include some audio from a video I shot a while ago, but it makes sense once you listen to the episode. So here you go. Enjoy the audio and the video if you're watching it. Thank you. Regret the Podcast. Hi, I'm Matt Miller, and this is Regret the Podcast, episode 2. Now, last episode, I fell asleep during it, which is kind of rough, but I'm not going to fall asleep this time. I can tell you more of my regrets without falling asleep. Now, this is a cup full of water. If you're listening, I am drinking a water cup right now. It's just water. I'm making sure the audio levels are good, and they're fucking beautiful right now, just drinking this water. Spilled it on my forehead for all you visual listeners. Visual listeners is a weird way to say that. Today I have a bunch of regrets I'm going to tell you. It is pretty late. Let me log on. You know what? Fuck it. 4:07 a.m. right now. 4:07. I got a Miller High Life in my hand, but it's non-alcoholic. I took the alcohol out of this High Life. Let me drink this. It's 4:07 a.m. right now. I was just in the bathroom. I was using the bathroom, and I was reading this book. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People in the Bathroom. I'm on page 75, and basically what I've learned is that highly effective people have 7 habits. So that's pretty good. This book has major Christian overtones, which is, it's fun. It's fun to know about them. It's fun. This is probably the number 1 burpiest podcast. I got a point to make about burping. Sometimes when I'm making out with a girl, right, and I have to burp, I'll just start making out with like her neck or like her chest, and I'll just burp into it so I don't burp into her mouth while we're making out. That's a fun fact about me. But yeah, so 7 habits of highly effective people, 75 pages in. What have I learned? I've learned shit. I've learned that it's all a perception, how you visualize life. It's all perception. I haven't got into it. I guess this book is pretty Christian. It's pretty Christian, so that's annoying. But it's probably got some good stuff for me to learn. If you have read it, just send me your opinion on it. I'll tell you something. Tony Robbins says fundamentals are the key to success. Stephen Covey, the writer of the book, is a master of them. Buy this book, but most important, use it. So right now I'm using it as part of this podcast. I am talking about it right now, so that's fun. It is a timeless bestseller, and frankly, it hasn't taught me shit. I know I'm supposed to be active in my life, so whatever, fuck this book. No, it's okay, I'll finish it, but fuck this book. But it's okay, but fuck it, Trying to push religion on me. At the end, there's a whole thing about fucking church, and I'm like, that's fine. I don't know. I'm going to put it here. I get a lot of boogers, if you're wondering. I have a lot of fucking boogers. So when sometimes I get tired of blowing my nose, so I just suck it in and drink it in my throat. So fuck it. So this is Regret the Podcast. I'm going to tell you some of my regrets. I made a whole new list of regrets. They're still not my biggest regrets. I got bigger regrets, but let's see if I can get through this list. So there's one time I used to work for a public access station. I don't know if that's out there. That information is out there. I used to work for a public access station. And one time there was like a spider in the station. And I wanted to help the spider. Let me move the mic a bit. I wanted to help the spider leave the station. So like I picked it up from the ground, right? And I brought it to the door and I put it outside. And I didn't bring my keys and the door closed behind me. And this is like 8 or 9 o'clock. I was the only one there. And I was locked out and like my keys and the laptop and all my shit was inside because I decided to save this fucking spider from its fate of being inside of a public access station. So then I had to walk down the street and I ran into a guy and he was like, "Are you drunk?" And I'm like, "I'm not fucking drunk. I was saving a fucking spider." He's like, "You can't be out here with no ID," because I didn't have my ID because I left it in the station. And I'm like, "No, I was saving this fucking spider." And we had this big back and forth until finally I was able to call my dad and he picked me up, brought me home and shit. And then I was supposed to go to like, so I live in Massachusetts. I was supposed to go with my girlfriend to Cape Cod the next day. So she picked me up and drove me to the station to get my shit because I told her I left all my shit in it because I decided to save a spider from being inside the station and bring it to a door. And then I got locked out. And then my boss just assumed I was like there, but I was like taking a shit or something because everything was kind of open. I didn't lock the doors in the station. And I was like, no. I just locked myself out because I saved a spider. He's like, "Next time, just text me." And I'm like, that probably makes sense. I kind of just left you hanging. But she brought me there. And I was able to get my stuff. We went to the Cape. We rented mopeds. That was pretty fun. She was like a vegetarian, but there was like lobster ice cream, and we tasted it, and she had some, and I'm like, lobster ice cream has lobster in it, and she's like, the fucking air has lobster in it, So she felt like she wasn't breaking her vegetarianism because like lobster is everywhere in the Cape. She didn't realize that by eating lobster ice cream, she was eating meat, but that was fine. So I sort of regret bringing that spider out and having to fucking walk in the streets. I was planning on walking to the fucking police station to have them pick me up because I wanted to save this fucking spider because I was feeling bad about bugs for whatever reason. But no, I ran into a guy. I could use his cell phone because I didn't have my cell phone, and he helped me out a lot. Yeah. Does this mic sound weird? Is this sounding weird right now? I'm trying to make sure it's like it's clear and cool and under control, like Maybelline or some sort of makeup. Wait, let's listen for a sec. No, you know what that is? That's just the heat, so you're just gonna have to deal with the fucking heat. What was I gonna say? Yeah, fucking working at the public access station. I dated a vegan for a while. She's a vegetarian, turned vegan. I brought her to a Bass Pro Shop once, which was probably a bad idea because there's a bunch of fucking taxidermy dead animals. Maybe they're not even real dead animals, but there's still like interpretations of taxidermy dead animals in the Bass Pro Shop. So like anywhere we turned in that store, it was just like, oh, a big bear. Oh, a deer. Oh, Santa, let's take a picture. Oh, wait a second, we're in our mid-20s. Why are we taking a picture with Santa? Oh, shit, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's look at the rifles that they use to kill animals. So it was kind of a fucking clusterfuck, but you live and you learn, You live and you learn. She was cool. I tried to go vegetarian for a little bit while I was dating her, but I just couldn't do it. She lived near like a Wendy's. So like I would go vegetarian like all day through the night, maybe even the next day. But then by the time we were done seeing each other, I'd like drive to the Wendy's and eat like a junior bacon cheeseburger or whatever. because I was fucking hungry. I mean, it's cool if you just eat vegetables, but meat fills me up. So what am I going to do? I don't know. I don't know. Regret the podcast. I've had a few non-alcoholic beverages tonight. This Miller Lite, if you're watching it on video, no booze in this. This is a fake Miller Lite. If you're listening, just drinking a fake Miller Lite. So let me tell you a little story. This isn't something I regret, but so I have a YouTube channel. You may or may not know about that. The YouTube link is youtube.com/7the777. So that's the number 7, the word the number 7, the word 7, the number 7, which is a terrible fucking link. And the day I could have changed it, I just was like impatient when changing it. I just said, yeah, that's perfect, with the same old fucking link. So I'm stuck with that link, and whatever. 7's my lucky number for some reason. It's my mom's lucky number. It's my lucky number. But anyhow, I make this video called Money for Blood, which is a fake infomercial in which I am the host and I ask people to send money to get blood back. And it's like a parody video, and I shot it at the same public access station. This public access station is located in a middle school. I have another video about like shooting this parody video for Miley Cyrus's video We Can't Stop, and I called mine He Can't Plop. I have a whole video about it on YouTube about how I shot that and how the police showed up. So I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm going to talk about shooting the Money for Blood video, because I was, because that is kind of interesting what happened there. Oh, did the audio just go up a little bit? I don't want to fucking fuck up the audio. The Money for Blood video. So in that video, I pour a bunch of blood on my head, which is fun to pour some blood on your head. And, I don't know, it was like 11 or 12 at night. The public access studio is located in a middle school. And I was pouring blood on my head, spilling it on the ground, getting on my feet. And I would have to, like, when I was done with it, I still had a bunch of blood on my feet. And I had to walk through the hallways of the middle school to the bathroom, which was located in the kitchen, which wasn't so far away. But I still had to walk it. And I left, like, all these blood footprints to the fucking bathroom, which is kind of, it's silly. It's silly. And in the bathroom, I had to, like, wash all the fake blood off me. And then I had to get, like, a towel and wipe all the fucking blood imprints I put on the ground to the bathroom from the studio to the bathroom. And then I had to clean up all the blood from the bathroom. And then even when I was leaving, I had, like, these, the tarps I put down. I put down tarps so I wouldn't get blood all over everywhere. And when I put them down, like, towards the exit, they kind of spilled, and I had to clean up all the blood from the exit from the middle school. So, like, I was in a middle school in the public access station. I got a bunch of fake blood in the public access station, a bunch of fake blood footprints in the hallway, and a bunch of fake blood in the bathroom, and a bunch of fake blood towards the back entrance. Because I was shooting this video called Money for Blood. You can check it out on my infomercial. Now, I don't regret doing that at all. It was just a silly thing. It took me fucking hours to clean up all that fucking fake blood. And then, like, I bet that they have cameras in middle schools. They could probably watch me fucking gliding across the fucking hallways with a towel, cleaning up the fake blood because I was shooting this video. And I was allowed to shoot it because I had access to the studio. And I remember I did, like, a comedy open mic afterwards, and my head was all slicked back from, like, the fake blood I made. It was like I made it using, like, corn syrup and shit. So it really fucked up my hair, but it was a fucking silly time. I don't know. The people in that fucking town must have thought I was crazy. Like, somebody had to watch a video of me that night just, like, pouring blood on my head for a video and then wandering around the middle school trying to clean it up. But whatever, that was a few years ago now. Not a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Damn, all this mic noise is probably sounding great. Of me moving the mic around. Let me turn it up a bit. Regret the podcast. I'm Matt Miller. I'm Matt Miller. What else do I write here? I do. So in high school, I used to robo trip, as they call it, robo trip. The drug in Robitussin called dextromethorphan is the drug that makes you trip, and I used to take it to get high and trip. In high school, it was actually senior year. I was very lonely and used to take it to trip, and yeah, I did it for like maybe 4 months, maybe longer, maybe 6 months. It wasn't like consistent. I would like take it to get fucked up. I would mostly do like Quercetin cough and cold, which had the most DXM in it. I wouldn't really take the syrup. Quercetin cough and cold had the most DXM in it. The most DXM in it. And the thing is, is the mic still making noise? I can hear it moving. Is it slightly moving as I sit here? That would totally fuck up the sound. Let me just push all this stuff out of the way. The most I took was 30 pills. You're only supposed to take one pill every 24 hours. I would take 30 or 25, and that would really fuck me up. The first time you like really trip on DXM, you kind of, your head's super heavy, and you're like one of those birds that's like on the keys, like just pressing Y over again, but you're just like, I was like, oh, I'm going to write like fucking scripts while I'm on this drug, and I was just writing this. I remember I wrote, this was a senior year of high school, I wrote like, I'm on DXM, this is a script, and it didn't go anywhere. It's fucking stupid, but yeah, I do a joke about it if you look on the YouTube about the night I took like 25 Quercetin cough and cold, or 30 or whatever it was, and then I took 2 family-size bottles of Robitussin, and then I took like a Hershey's Kiss, and that really fucked me up, and like it's a dissociative, and it like takes me out of my body. And yeah, that night, like I was like passively suicidal. Like I didn't think I was gonna die, but I was okay if I did die. How did I get here? I feel like I'm just rambling about shit. But yeah, there was a time when I was younger where I drank and took pills of DXM, and I thought I could kill myself, and I didn't. And it was a weird night. My parents never knew I did that shit. But if you look on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/7, the 7, 7, the word 7, you can see the joke about it. But it's just true. It's just true. That shit fucks up your brain. I sort of regret doing it. Like, it was during the time when, like, they started carding cough syrup to make sure you weren't buying a bunch of it. So I had to go to multiple stores to get multiple cough syrups because you couldn't just get it at one store because they carded you. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know why I did it. Senior year was pretty fun. I was just fucking down as shit. I remember people were offering to buy it for me too. People don't care. One time I played poker, and like it takes a little bit to kick in. I had a whole bunch of it like at the beginning of the game, and I was fine. And then like an hour later, like I was like, I could go to the bathroom, and I started like puking it out. And then I had talked to my friend's mom, who I haven't seen in like years, and I was like, oh, I'm just a little sick, da da da. And then I played the game, and I just fucking lost. Just fucking lost. I don't know. I don't recommend it. It's not even that fun. You know, it's kind of fun, but whatever. I did it. It makes you see shit outside your body, but it's not good for your brain. It gives you fucking holes in your brain, so don't do it. Okay. So this isn't really a regret, but like some fucking awful shit that happened to me. When I was younger, I think it was like sixth or seventh grade. I had this like growth at the end of my dick. We're gonna get a little graphic here, This growth within my dick, and when I used to pee, it used to fill up with pee. And I thought, because I just started learning about STDs, that I had an STD. even though I hadn't had sex yet. I thought somehow like maybe my brother gave it to me or I got it somehow through some shit. Because I had this growth within my dick that would like fill up with pee and then I'd like squeeze out the piss into the toilet. I don't know what it was. It was like I saw doctors multiple times and it was nothing. It's just I had this weird thing that would fill up with pee. It sounds so gross. And then I'd have dumped in the toilets, but really it fucking affected me. I'm like, how do I have an STD and I never fucked anyone? And I remember that we had this like 7th or 8th grade trip. We went to Quebec. And like I was real self-conscious about like this fucking growth at the end of my dick. And like I remember I was in an elevator and there was like these 2 chicks that were also on the field trip and they started like poking me and bugging me. And I'm like, oh shit, if these chicks want to fuck, I got fucking STDs. I can't fuck with these chicks. And they were fucking with me and I was like, no, I ain't about that shit. And then whatever. And I didn't do shit, but like, I don't know, they probably wouldn't do shit. There was like, I had like a French, like Quebec pen pal, and I remember she was like, oh, you want to go to the Subway? And I was like, yeah, let's take the fucking Subway. And she just brought us to a Subway restaurant. And I had a fucking meatball sub in Quebec. I mean, I had some Quebec food, but I thought she meant the actual Subway, not the restaurant. Fucking jumping around here. But yeah, in like 7th or 8th grade, we had a nice trip to Quebec. We went to like a snow tubing place, which was fun. There was like an old guy with hairy legs. It's like, come snow tube with me. And we were like, nah, we ain't gonna snow tube with you, guy. And we didn't. And then a couple of jerks would like fart spray, like fucking bully fucking kids. Kids' luggage, which is bullshit, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, my point of that is when we were there, we watched like fucking porn on the TV, and I remember like our teachers came down who were chaperones, and they opened the door and they're just like, what's going on? Because they were like fucking hammered. They were like, nothing, we're just hanging out. And they were like, okay. And then me and like 3 other dudes were just like fucking watching Quebec porn. I hope this all makes sense. I think I'm like fucking jumping around. So yeah, one of my friends, R.I.P., Matt Alston, was there. He was a good dude. He liked drugs, but he was a good dude. So rest in peace, Matt. You were cool. There's no real regrets there. I sort of regret thinking that the fucking growth on my dick was an STD, even though it was nothing. And I don't even know why the fuck I would get it, but what are you gonna do, you know? You live and you learn. What else do I got here? Fucking quitting wrestling. I used to wrestle a lot. I was pretty good at wrestling through middle school. And there was one time I made it to like the state champs or something. And my mom didn't come to watch me. My dad just did. And I had like to do a match, and like my normal wrestling coaches were too busy with like their sons or other kids, and my dad had to like coach me, and he didn't know how to do it, and I lost that match. And then I did another match because it was like a round robin, you were allowed 2, and I lost the second match kind of for the same reason. And then I went home, and then my dad told my mom that I kind of just lost the both matches shitty, and she just kind of hit me in the head. And then I quit wrestling that day. I remember I was playing Skate, the video game. And yeah, I quit wrestling because I was like, if she doesn't care, then I don't fucking care. And I sort of wish I had continued wrestling because it's just like, now I don't care if my mom approves at all. But then I did. And I think doing the sport would have been good. It would have forced me to like exercise and socialize and shit in high school. But I did stop because she didn't go to the fucking state finals to see me. And that was like a big achievement by me. That was like, I was pretty good at it. And she didn't come, so I wish I had continued wrestling, but fuck it, you know? I'm not going to fall asleep again on this one. That'd be silly. If you're listening to this or watching this, you're probably like, why the fuck is he yawning? Podcast is supposed to be exciting. I drank a bunch of non-alcoholic beverages to loosen up, so it's a bit rough right now, but let me see what my phone said. I'm recording almost 24 minutes. My phone records 30 minutes. We're going to take a quick little break for our sponsors, and then I'll be back. Thanks for watching Regret the Podcast. Regret the Podcast is brought to you by dogs. I love fucking dogs. Regret the Podcast. So that was the podcast there. I cut to the commercial break, and then I come back in, and that little noise you heard was me pushing the mic away. Because I recorded the commercial break right after recording the main audio, and then I was going to get up to stop the camera and then started recording again. But instead of getting up, I just fell asleep. If you're watching the video, you can see clearly that I just fall asleep. So yeah, I never ended up recording a second half to this. It's still pretty good length. But I mentioned my Miley Cyrus video in the podcast and how you can go online to see it. But instead of having to make you go online, I'm just going to include the audio from my already made YouTube video about it. If you watch the video, it's the video of me on the ground, and it's all voiceover. So the audio does work on its own, but if you want to see more specification, watch the video. You can see me pouring stuff on myself, and then the video is mostly just an empty room. It will make sense once you listen to the audio. But yeah, here is the audio for the Miley Cyrus video story. The story behind it where I pour condiments on myself and the police show up. That's a little spoiler, but here's the more in-depth audio. Regret the Podcast. Hey, this is Matt Miller, and I'm going to tell you about the mustard incident. Back in August 7th, 2013, I shot this parody video for this Miley Cyrus song called We Can't Stop, and I called my version He Can Plop. And this is the raw footage from that, the full clip of one of the scenes where I put condiments on my chest and then wipe those condiments together with a cupcake and then eat it. Now, this is an important video to show because at one point the police show up. So here I am on the ground without a shirt, and I'm going to write he on my chest with the ketchup like this. I write he on the top, H right there, and then E, and then I write C, A, and then N. So yeah, this is what I do in my free time. I write words and condiments on my chest, and then I take the mustard and I write P right there, L, O, P. I should really call this the mustard and ketchup and cupcake incident, but I like the mustard incident. See, that says he can plop very clearly. Then I take the cupcake, I wipe it into my chest like this, just like that, and then I pick it up and I eat it, and then I notice the cops are there looking at me with flashlights, and I run away. At that moment where I finally got the last part of the shot, I realized there was lights pointed at me, like flashlights, and the cops had showed up, and they saw me covering my chest in ketchup and mustard and cupcake, which I don't think they expected to see. So I record some of my videos in a place where I work, which is a school, and this was around 11:30 at night, and I am allowed to be there. I work there, but I accidentally set the alarm off because I was there so late. So the police came by to see if there was any suspicious activity, And there was. There was me on the ground putting condiments on my chest and then wiping them together using a cupcake. Now, I'm positive I looked at them and they saw exactly what I was doing. They had flashlights in the back of the room pointed at me, and one sort of caught my attention. And then, yeah, I took the bite and I ran away, like you saw. Now, at this point, I'm running down the hall, covered in condiments. Went to the bathroom to clean up. I left like mustard marks along the floor in the school from that room to the bathroom. And yeah, so I'm cleaning up at this point, and then I make the police wait, and then they start knocking to see if they can get my attention. Now I'm in the bathroom for a lot of this, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, cleaning up and such, making them wait, which must be annoying for them. But I need to be presentable for the police, even though I'm pretty sure they saw what I was doing, and they're probably talking to each other like, how are we going to respond to this? Which is nice, you know. So yeah, coming up, the police knock pretty loud on the window. You can hear it. There it is. Try to gain my attention from the outside, and this is just the raw footage of what's going on. And then they start knocking louder as I'm trying to put on a sweatshirt, so when I see them, I'm not covered in mustard, even though my shorts have tons of mustard on them, mustard and ketchup, and I have some on my face. So they knock again. I keep knocking, coming up. Yeah, I think at that point they say they're the police, and I'm just trying to be presentable so I don't get in trouble, because I am allowed to be there. It's just I was kind of doing weird stuff, but it was for the sake of comedy, so I think it's all right. You know, so there I am running by. I'm gonna go run out and talk to the police, tell them I was inside, you know, I had to stay late to work on a video. I don't even tell them I'm working on this, just I had to work on a video. So yeah, I walk down the hall. It's a long hall to go talk to the police, and they're like, what are you doing? I tell them I work there. They say, that's all right. And they're like, what's on your forehead? And I'm like, oh, that's some mustard. I had mustard on my forehead. I'm like, yeah, I spilled it on my face when I was reaching for it. And they're like, okay. Because I think they don't really want to know what I was doing, because maybe they were freaked out by it. I still work there, but I don't know if they will remember me. But if they do, they probably just know me as the mustard kid, which is cool to be known as that to the police. So yeah, so at this point, I'm down the hall talking to the cops, saying my case to them, letting them know that I'm allowed to be here, and that I just always have mustard on myself because I'm a messy eater, you know. I still have the shorts. The shorts are just like two big ovals of mustard on either leg, so I wasn't able to wear them after that. Even when I cleaned it, it was just two big mustard marks, which is nice. So yeah, I have to tell them it's okay for me to be there. And then the good thing is I was able to get the shot before they showed up. I was able to write "he can plop" very clearly, and then wipe the cupcake in and eat it, which is just something, you know, I thought would be funny for the video, and it's in the video. If you go look at it, I'll put a link to it somewhere so you can see it. So yeah, that was the mustard incident. At some point I come back and I sort of just walk around dazed, not knowing what to do next, because now I got to clean the hallways and make sure there's no evidence left behind. so the police don't come back, I guess, or like people the next day don't know what's happening. So there I am walking in and thinking about what to do because I have a lot of cleaning to do because the hallways are covered in mustard. But I didn't get in any trouble. It was just a weird scenario for me to be in. So yeah, that's the mustard incident. Regret the podcast. So yeah, that was the Miley Cyrus story. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and you enjoyed the whole podcast. If you liked it, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Matt Miller Real. Find me on Facebook at Matt Miller Real. Like that. You can follow me on Instagram at Matt Miller Real. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, 7the777, which is a terrible thing. I've mentioned that a million times during this and the last episode. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and do any shit. And if you don't like it, fuck it. I don't know why you're at the end of it and you're hearing this. But thanks for listening, and stay tuned for another Regret the Podcast. Thank you. Regret the Podcast. Regret the Podcast. Regret the Podcast. Regret the Podcast. Regret the Podcast.